Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Listen Along. This is a special one. We're doing it on a Monday. Usually these are on Saturdays at noon Pacific. I am William, your host. I'm also the drummer for Glass Beach, and today I'm joined by the rest of Glass Beach. You can introduce yourselves, I guess, if they don't know. We'll start with Lane.
I'm Lane. I'm the guitarist slash one of the producers in Glass Beach. He, him.
I'm Jonas. They, she. I am the bass player for Glass Beach.
I'm Jay. I'm the mascot.
Yeah, we've been really working on the suit, the skin suit for our mascot here.
And I'm extremely excited. Also, my pronouns are they, them. The EP that we're going to be listening to today is a beginner's guide to faking your death. Which, if you haven't heard about this, it's very new. It's we're on the up and up here, finding it very quickly. Some of us heard it a while ago. Brag. I'm so excited. We have jariah, jariah exclamation point, which is Jariah and Cole. We have both of them here. You can say hi.
We're here.
Hey, we're here. They say. We got people in the chat. We got Jam Jacks in the chat.
Austin just hit 1 year of subscriptions. He got the Red Moon.
Whoa!
The Red Spoon.
Yeah.
Whoa!
First one I've seen.
Thank you
That's
for the
fucking
subscribe at tier 1,
year.
Austin.
Wow, thank you for the sub.
Yeah, everyone here. If you've never been to this before, what's going to happen is we're going to listen to the entirety of the album, in this case, the EP, A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death by Jariah, with Jariah and Cole here. We're going to be doing album commentary, essentially. We will be talking during the entirety of it. The album will not be being played live on stream. It is up to you to pull up a streaming provider or something of your choice. We'll be using the Green Music app, but you can use the Fruit with the bite out of it, or Deezer, or whatever.
Purchase on title. Yeah.
Just play it like 30 seconds at a time on TikTok.
Yeah. Yes, you can devote a TikTok to incrementally putting A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death on it. Like what Pink Shift? Yeah, Pink Shift. I think Eric, the bass player for Pink Shift, is putting their new songs up one bass note at a time.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So we'll be listening to the entirety of it. You'll have to sync up with us. I will be doing a countdown when it is time to start the album. I'll doing it 3, 2, 1, go. That was not it. It will sound exactly like that when I do it later. I say. This
Yuck,
is my cat.
yuck.
This is my cat Tig. And basically we'll start. We will not stop. There will be no stopping. We'll just talk through the whole thing. And this is for Jariah and Cole. Don't feel the need to talk the entire time. I mean, the point is that they will be listening to the music. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what to say here, but I don't want it to be silent, this is so awkward, don't worry. Nobody's going to think that, because they're going to be listening to you screaming and playing the drums, and it's going to be a good time.
That is the vibe.
It's true.
We do.
So I guess I'll go to a screen here where you can see Jariah and Cole, since I've been keeping them in the dark.
Oh yeah, we were just voices the entire time.
Whoa, we're faces. No.
Yeah, so this is
Hi,
Jariah and
Hi,
Cole.
Cole.
I have their Twitters up on the screen, so if you want to follow them, you can do that. I'm going to scoot this over. Here we go. Yeah, so basically, we're going to get started here pretty soon. I'll give you all a little while to pull up your streaming provider of choice or not choice. Let's be real. Am I right?
Choice or circumstance.
We got Frozen Butter in here saying, woohoo!
I love frozen butter.
We've got Jariah saying, hi. So before we get into it, if we can stall for a little while. Oh, someone said, yo, I got y'all covered on LimeWire. That's great.
Let's go.
Yeah, on LimeWire you can download Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death by Fall Out Boy. God, I remember getting 55 by System of a Down back in 2004, and
Oh my god.
and it took me I think actually by that point I already knew the song from Newgrounds, but I just put it on my Zune and I was like, well, that's not right. Why is it all with all my other System of a Down songs?
I downloaded a version of BYOB by System of a Down that recordable CD into their car and recorded it over a radio station and then ripped it off that CD and put it on LimeWire. And there was like an announcer at the beginning. It was like, we're here at something KXT Ass Rock, and we're about to have, and here's BYOB by System of a Down. And then it would it was really funny.
Wow. I think I kind of came up in the perfect time for music piracy, because I would just type in like album free download full.
Oh yeah.
And just go to the first link. For the longest time, I was like, it's so cool that all the MCR songs have underscores at the end. That was really creative.
Ahead of its time, really.
For real.
Jariah and Cole, for some reason your microphone is now like blasting us like with sound.
What?
Oh no.
We haven't even touched anything.
Here, let me see if I can fix that on my end. Let me see if that's something I can do.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I feel like people credit.
Talk some more.
Hello. Hi.
I think that's better.
I think it's better.
Cool.
No, I was watching the Focusrite just going to like the red, like that's different.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen.
Hello, Aiden Nietzsche. Welcome. It's the
Yeah.
first time
That's
here.
exactly how I like it, actually.
Oh, hi. Yeah. I like Cole's glasses. Funky little man.
Funky little.
I just expect Jariah and Cole to always blast me with sound. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Funky little man.
That's it.
Funky little man.
Expect nothing
Fuck you,
less.
little man.
So can you give me a lowdown? How'd you two meet?
Oh wow! How did we meet? We met at school through. How do I even get into the story? We got in through some mutual friends, right? And
Is that even true?
I
think I was just there.
I think
No, nobody was my friend. I was just there.
I mean, these, at least for me, these are people I just met. I'm assuming similar case for you?
No, it was the same for me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was like newly mutual friends who like
Okay.
gathered us into a place, and they were like, "Yes, like I found people that play music. We're gonna get them in the same room. We're gonna do something." And I think like right away, me and Cole kind of like just connected a little differently. I think we just had like more similar musical backgrounds than like the other people that brought us there to begin with. And we just kind of got to talking, and Cole was like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I like produce. I'm like a, you know, mix engineer and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, sick. I'm like terrible at mixing." And somewhere in there, I show him some stuff from the first album, The Great Tale, which I mixed, and his immediate reaction was like, This could sound better. I think I can make it sound better.
To be fair, it was I like this, but it could sound better. It wasn't just this is shit. Let me get it.
So like we kind of were like, yeah, we'll do something sometime. We'll work together, and we eventually did get together and like made some songs. Not even made some songs. I think it just kind of started with Cole like mixing a song. I was working on Split at the time.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, this was like beginning of 2019.
Well, that's also
And-
like the song that kind of drew, I think, the most attention immediately for you.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
the
so.
first like bigger
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
That was
For
when you
sure.
started getting the jariah weekend bump where you'd hit fucking 50,000 listens in one weekend or something. It was like that or like Debt Collector did that or something, or Flight of the Crows. I just remember you were like
I will
pulling
say-
in. Yeah.
This release is definitely a whole different ballgame from anything that's happened before. And we keep saying it like every release. We're like, yo,
Can't get bigger than
this is
right?
crazy. Like, what's going to happen next time? And then we're surprised every time. So
Do you
it's
like
fun.
check the Spotify artist app every day and just fill your brain
yeah.
with those
Every
numbers?
day,
Yeah.
that's
We just look at
every
it.
hour.
You just look at it and you're like, that number's not real.
It's not a real number.
God.
It's really not a real number.
Oh my God. During like a release night, we did, I don't know, I can get into the whole story later, but release night, like as a result of TikTok, ended up being a way bigger thing than I thought. We did a little thing similar to this in our Discord, and we're like, yeah, we'll get like a couple people in here. It'll be nice. And like 60 people or something show up in our voice chat. And we're like, cool. I don't know how to moderate 60 people. And Cole's like, like in the middle of it, he's like, "Oh, you should go check Spotify for artists right now," and I like lost it.
Yeah, like I think we were at like 1 o'clock in the morning, peaking at like
250.
280.
That's right.
concurrent.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was
Yeah.
wild.
Damn.
Yeah, I stood up. I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah. Like it's when you realize it's like, oh, I there's no way I know all those people. That's more people than I know. That and
Yeah,
it's,
literally, I
and
can't know that many people.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that for all of you. I also saw the picture of the screen cap you took of all of those people.
It was so chaotic.
Austin says it was popping. Austin was there.
Oh no, it was
was
great.
there.
It was good, but it was chaotic.
Yeah. Oh my God, Adam is in there. He was also there.
Oh, that's funny that you told this story because Millsy Music said, "What are y'all's thoughts on the Discord exploding?" By the way, so which is great because we got there.
It's true. Those are our thoughts. Completely insane. Really have to figure out how to deal with that. I guess haven't really worked that out. It was a very sudden jump, but we'll figure it out. Everything in time.
Well, that's awesome. I think about I think about other duos like kind of who have been working in spaces, and I hate to make this comparison and I apologize, but it does seem apt to me. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
That's not where I thought you were going at all.
Because I remember the thing that everyone would say, or who's the dude who did Uptown Funk with Bruno Mars?
Oh, Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars are like another one. I think about all these duos who are like it is a front person, someone who is like writing and singing and playing a lot of the instruments, and then someone who is also like adding instruments and orchestration, but is mostly the producer as well. And you don't get a lot of that, I don't think, in like a DIY space. It's mostly like, oh, we've like it happens in rap a lot for sure, but like not in like the kind of music that you two are doing. And I think I just like I love it, and I can't wait for you to have like that fucking 21 Pilots moment where they go up at the Grammys and they pull their fucking pants down and they're like, didn't think we'd be here we are. Like,
Wait, did they pull their pants down at the Grammys?
they walked up on stage without their pants on or something. Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a fun little moment for them.
I'm just stoked
But
for
no,
it.
it's crazy. I feel the same way though. I feel like there aren't a lot of like sort of like duo places. I remember, not even remember, even like right now, I never know like where to look, I guess. Like it's hard to know like where to look for like inspiration. Like you kind of want to find people that have like roughly walked your path so you have some reference. And it's very tricky. I kind of have to like look outside the box sometimes, which is fun.
Y'all are also like your style is I mean even in the punk and rock like space of DIY, like even y'all's style is pretty different than like what you experience even in the rock sphere, because there's groups like Royal Blood where it's just like a bassist and a drummer, and the bassist does the octave thing to make it sound
I
like
am
there's
the
guitar.
biggest fan of Royal Blood.
Royal Blood's really cool. I've recently gotten a real kick out of showing the rest of the band the overly simplistic but really like groovy Phil in Lights Out, where he's just like do 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 do, and he just does that for like 30 seconds. But but it's funny though, because like usually you see it's like a guitarist and a drummer.
It's like Origami Angel.
Oh yeah, Origami Angel
is a guitarist and a drummer. Drenge is a guitarist and a drummer. Japan Droids is a guitarist and a drummer. Black Keys is a guitarist and a drummer.
Yeah.
Like it is you. Ohm, I believe, is also a guitarist and a drummer. But they used to be a two-piece. I don't know that they are anymore. But yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. But yeah, and plus y'all have a unique styling about y'all's music that I think is something that like it's cool, because usually bands that are duos try to fit within the scope of like, okay, let's do what a duo can do on stage, and not that y'all don't pull that off live, y'all definitely do, but like what I always admire about like certain artists, in this case y'all, is that y'all look at recording and producing songs as a different thing than doing live performances. You put in a whole lot more, and a whole lot more stuff is going on in the recordings, which I think is cool because it not only like presents different experiences, you have more of a reason to be like, oh, go see them live. It's completely different and it's amazing. Whereas like, you know, and no shade or anything to other bands that exactly replicate their music live, but it's always been interesting to me because personally I found it more fun as a musician to do that and make the live show its own thing from like, you know, orchestrating like a massive thing and then the recording and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, so much of our studio stuff is usually to the detriment of what we do live. It's so hard to pick like, well, what do we fucking do for the live set?
But I think it makes for like a fun challenge to work around. I love like creative challenges and stuff like that. And I feel like it kind of like while you were saying, a lot of duos sort of like figure out like how to work within that scope, and I feel like it was very much the opposite with us, where like the moment Cole got involved, he was like, cool, like we
now we're
can make
doing
this
more.
even bigger. And like naturally, like I'm like, oh hell yeah, like let's do that.
Just Kylo Ren at the mixing board. More, give me more.
I mean, it does. I don't know if this is like a youth producer thing or whatever, but I know that like, I mean, like our production is pretty maximalist sometimes. I mean, like we, especially with like newer music, and I think historically Jay has taken a pretty stripped back approach sometimes just when the mood kind of fits. But I know that like Hansel of Nightlife and of Pink Shifts and of so many other artists that they're working with, they have a very maximalist approach to their production as well. I can think of as far as producers are concerned. And who else was
Trito Bandito is raiding with a party of 11 raiders.
Oh, thank you, Trito Bandito.
Hello.
Appreciate that.
We're about to get into a listen along here, everybody. We have Jariah. We have Jariah with us, who Jariah and Cole together make Jariah.
Jariah and Cole.
And we're going to listen to the entirety of their new EP, A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death. Live on stream here. The music won't be played live on stream, so you'll have to bring up a streaming provider. This is the last call, by the way. I just wanted to talk a little bit at the top, but we are going to get into the listen along here. This is last call to bring up your streaming provider of choice. Choice, am I right? I'm going to wear that joke to death. I'm going to wear that joke to faking its death. And then we will do a 3, 2, 1 countdown. On go, when I do the countdown, you will hit play, and we should be synced up. That's both for us and for Jariah and Cole.
I was also going to say to your point just before about Maximalist Production, I think what's really cool about both Jariah and like a lot of new bands that are doing stuff like that is that it's maximalist and out of the box. Because one thing like the first stuff I got into mixing was rock and metal is pretty maximalist in ways, but it's also very in the box. It's very much like you set the compressor to these settings, you get things like locked in really tightened this way. There's usually a pretty strict formula especially for like commercial rock stuff and whatnot. But it's been nice, especially seeing bands like Jariah, because it's like there's a lot of maximalist stuff going on, but it's also working out of the box. It's not trying to just fit within the mold, you know, which is really good.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I think a lot of it comes from really just an inability to pull that off with no money. Like making metal music is expensive. It's great.
It fucking is.
You know, I don't even think it would occur to me to attempt that unless I just had a bunch of money.
Yeah.
We had a question from chat that I wanted to read.
Go for it. I think, Jay, you look like...
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it comes from sort of a mindset of music writing from a lot of music that was basically written in the studio, and now we're in a position where like the studio is in everybody's home, you know, like a guitar and amp and pedals and all of that is really expensive, and the scope of what you can do with that is really limited. But with just like a laptop and even just GarageBand or whatever other like free software you can find, it's basically limitless what you can do. And I think people just approach production in a very different way these days because of that.
Yeah, which is nice.
Endless possibilities.
Like a lot of our production ends up being like, I think I've talked to you about this. Just the fact that we can do it, it just calls into question. Just like, yeah, I guess why not?
Yeah.
That's the best.
And for your live performance, you use like backing tracks, right?
We're still figuring it out, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the backing tracks right now are a pretty big part of the show.
And Cole, you use an E-kit live?
Huh?
Do you use an E-kit live, an electronic drum kit?
Well, like when possible, I like using an actual kit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've just seen a lot of like of your performance photos, and you're always sitting in an E-kit, and I'm just like, I guess that makes sense because there's probably like a lot of like what is it, like triggers you have to.
I mean, actually, for the EP, there isn't a lot of triggers. Actually, for the entire EP, I used like one snare. It was a Ludwig Black Beauty for like pretty much the entire EP.
Oh, okay.
Classic.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you speed any? Well, actually, I should wait till we get into the actual listen along for this. I have specific questions about your drumming, Cole, because it is ridiculous.
Cool.
Also, I enjoy that like you geek out about production stuff, Cole, because seeing you on Twitter talk about it is nice. And I've usually today is like a Music Monday thing, and something that I've been expressing a whole lot is that we need more engineers and producers who are like willing to geek out and share stuff, because I talked to the band about how like some of my favorite producers who are like from like the old head generation, you go and you look up interviews and it's like you got these massive guitars, what did you do to record that? And then they're like, I put an SM57 up to a cab. And it's like, yeah, everybody does that, buddy. What the fuck else did you do? You did something different. I know you fucking
I think there's two different kinds of things that happen there. I think sometimes it's what I think you're implying, where it's like people who find like something that works for them, and then they just want to make sure that nobody else like gets their hand on their slice of the pie or whatever. I also think a lot of the time people just genuinely don't remember, because that's true. I never remember what the fuck I did.
Times like there's people don't remember what they did, but at the same time, for like a lot of these like big producers and like recording engineers, like how they do it at this point means nothing to them, so they just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
They just do it. It's an autopilot sort of deal.
I feel like a lot of times it's like asking your mom how to cook, you know? It's not hard. You take the stuff and you put it together. It's all about the vibe. And you're like,
measure with your heart.
I think also just like doing something well and teaching people how to do something well are like completely different skill sets.
Oh, yeah.
And some people are way better at one than the other. In fact, most people are.
Yeah.
I would say.
I was gonna say too, a funny anecdote that I heard about recently, which is related to the Glass Beach Black Parade thing, because I was looking up like stuff from like anything I could on like what was done in the production cycle for that. And I ended up coming across a Tom Lord Algae thing. His brother was mixing Angels and Airwaves. And there's a point in like the thing where they're like in the chorus, he pans to like double track vocals. And someone was like, "Oh yeah, do you do that for like the choruses?" And he was like, "Honestly, I don't fucking know. I listened back to it. I don't know. I wanted to do that right now. That doesn't mean I did it back then. I'm just doing what I want to right now. I never remember stuff." And then like for some reason that like was somewhere within my like research, and then like I ended up listening back to the Black Parade mix, and I realized, oh my god, Tom Lord Algae did either Tom Lord Algae picked that up from Chris, or Chris picked up that from Tom, because he did it in the Black Parade, which is really funny.
Just like no vocals in the center.
Yeah, just like hand dual
oh my
track
god,
vocals
yeah.
and stuff.
That was something I picked up like really early. I used to love reading through like these long ass articles where they just like it'd be like, I don't know, there's like one out there where like Chris Lord-Alge just like breaks down everything for Welcome to the Black Parade, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna just do that for everything. And I'm like barely grasping what I'm reading, and I'm like, yes, okay, fully panned everything.
Well, he's using like compressors from the 70s, and then he's like moving it just like not even a notch, and he's like, yeah, that's perfect. And you're like, what the fuck did you do? Are you the edge of production? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you just want to really make it slap. You'll know it when you hear it. And I'm like, I don't. But
Austin says I don't have enough ears for all these jariah vocal tracks.
I barely have enough ears for all of them.
Oh my god! Every time I record vocals, I'm like, I'm excited to have a new little challenge for Cole.
Yeah, this time 100 vocal tracks in unison.
Jariah tests me with every new production how many vocal groups and summing buses I need just for vocals.
Yeah.
I think the peak for the EP was like 24 vocals during Debt Collector.
Damn.
Oh,
Which was
yeah, holy
fun
shit.
I loved that.
That was too much.
Was it too much though?
No, it wasn't. It was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we get into it now.
Yeah.
Is everybody
Let's
ready?
listen to some rock music.
Are you two ready? Let's listen to some rock music. Is that what you
Let's
just
listen to
said?
some fucking rock music. Rock and roll, baby. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Okay, you two are ready?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Dry acquire though, says Millsy. Do you have a set idea of tracks you want, or do you just go with the flow? Asks Austin.
What goes on?
Like when we're making a record.
Yeah, I think that's what the question is.
I usually have a pretty good plan of what I want the overall picture to look like. I usually don't write songs out of context. They're usually written for some kind of record, so that was kind of the case with this, but it was a little different where they happened over a long period of time. Like usually I'll have like a spreadsheet like way early on before the songs are even written. Like there are this many songs, all the songs are about this. But this one was a little bit different because I think it just kind of happened like as a result of like the pandemic and everything, and like just like wanting to write new songs and take a break from the record I was already making. So a lot of it just happened. One of the songs just happened in Cole's studio. Just like I brought in a demo and we just shaped it out. So it was a lot of messing with like the form and the process for this one.
Cool.
Oh, Austin meant
Oh,
I
yeah.
meant vocal tracks. That's funny.
Ooh.
Well, that's okay. That was also fun information.
For vocal tracks, it's I kind of just treat them like an instrument, really. So it's like if I have like a main vocal, my first impulse, if I feel like it's missing something, is to do vocals, and then I'll do more instruments if that's not enough.
Sure.
Cool. Okay. Well, everybody, audience, you had your last chance. I've given it to you. Okay, let's get into it. What DAW do you use, by the way, says Millsy. Okay, that's the last question. What DAW do you use?
You use FL Studio.
Hell yeah. Yeah, me too.
I use Pro Tools. I learned from old fucks.
I learned from Martin Garrix's YouTube tutorial.
You learn from piracy.
I learned my lessons on the sea.
It's hard to be a pirate when you're using Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I use GarageBand, so
You know what? You're valid for that.
That's the best.
FL Studio is what I started on. I feel like that's like the definitive DAW for just like laptop musician learning from YouTube tutorials.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
it's perfect. I don't remember any point in using FL Studio where I didn't understand how it works.
Yeah.
Like I just opened it, and like every time somebody would tell me to do something, it would just make sense. It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is built like a game.
I remember opening it for the first time and it was like, oh, kick, snare, I know what those are, and I put them in and it goes do, do.
yeah,
Like,
I'm making
that's
music.
a beat.
Yeah.
it's great. I took a whole class on Pro Tools, and I think if I opened it right now, I'd like throw up.
Yeah.
Look out, Max Martin. I've got FL Studio.
all right. So
All right,
basically,
28
what's going to
viewers.
happen?
Listen to this
I'm going to
album.
do a countdown. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, go. That also was not it. On go. you will hit play. So as I am saying go, when I say go, the audience and jariah and Cole you will hit play as I say go.
Sick.
And then we should be synced up. If you get off for whatever reason, maybe make sure if you're listening on something you don't have like transitions.
Yeah,
like some
Spotify
people,
will have like a crossfade. You don't want crossfade on.
Don't have crossfades on. If like an ad plays for you because you don't have something premium or whatever, I'm sorry. I don't encourage you to get it. I do like having it. If you live with a lot of people, do a family plan. It's nice. It works for us. But essentially, we'll be going start to finish. If you get off at any point, you can look at the bottom of the screen below us. There is a bar that I have captured from our streaming provider that will have what song we are on and where we are in that song. So you can get back in sync or close to at any point if you do get off. Without any further ado, then I think we can get into this. This is a beginner's guide to faking your death by Jariah. The first song is Enter, a Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death. And I will be saying the track list as we go along. I can't think of any necessarily like content warnings out the gate. Can you...
Warning loud.
Loud. I know. I do have a lot of people on who write about pretty traumatic experiences and things like that. I think this is like a little bit of a divergence from that because it's very theatrical and almost writing about like almost writing as if you're writing a movie. It kind of feels like
warning
theater
kids.
Yeah, warning theater kids.
Theatrical and cinematic. The
theatrical,
perfect media.
Cinematic. I'd say Jacob Villages, I swear my heart rate goes up every time William starts the countdown. I always mess it up. Oh no! Content warning, debt collectors. All right. Warning talks about faking death. Sure, that's the closest I think I can get.
Yeah, there's that. If
And
you
hopefully
have
you know
if
that
that's
by now.
a specific thing that you've been working with.
If you're scared of birds, you're not going to like one of these tracks.
Also that.
Sure. Yeah, but I guess here we go. All right, A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death by Jariah. First track, Enter, a Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death. 3, 2, 1, go.
Is volume okay?
No, that's fine.
Cool. This comment.
Huh?
This comment.
Y'all weren't kidding when you said loud. I dig it. So did this, you said that you generally write your songs in the context of a release. Was this like, did you know this was going to be the first album or the first song when you wrote it? Or was this kind of like moved there as it came about?
Okay, so I guess like fun fact about
this is where you put the melodies from the other songs in.
Oh yeah, okay, wait. I'll answer that in a sec. I like this part.
I did not pick up on that.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Also, this guitar part rips.
Thank you. So this was originally supposed to be the opening song for another record that is still in the works. And the other like album just changed so much that I was like, this opening track just no longer works. And this EP was supposed to be done and we had to push it back. And like for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, we ran out of time and we have to push it back. Let's add another song. And I really wanted an intro track for Needed a Change of Pace. So I went to that.
And
Cool.
speaking of which, this is Needed a Change of Pace.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's cool. I love having like a quick like sprint of a song. It's kind of like an opener.
Hear that as well.
High energy.
It's also a clever like overture. Like there's a lot of times where I've heard bands that do concept albums and then they're like, here is the overture, and it's like yes, this is all the song melodies, but it's like the way you put it in is very clever and not like it's I guess intuitive is not the right word, but it's like when you're listening to it you don't realize it that this is like an overture, and then when you go back it's like a little treat. You're like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because it wasn't originally supposed to be an overture.
I mean,
That makes
I think
sense.
it's kind of also just a result of like in that moment realizing that I have like a lot of not like crutches, I guess, but there's like just certain things that I kind of go back to a lot. So the intro track was like finding that overlap between those things and being like, oh, I do this a lot. Like I really like this chord progression, this type of melody, and all of it just kind of fit together, I guess.
Yeah.
I
this
also
little
love this
bridge here.
little TikTok filter you have in the background for the audio. The that
Huh?
the warbly, the warbly filter.
That was all Cole. He was messing around with that.
Look,
High intensity chorus.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fun fact. This song was supposed to be on To Mend the Sun, our last EP.
Whoa.
And we ran out of time. We were like up to like the wire, like trying to get mixes in like 12 hours before they needed to be done. It was a whole thing. So we were like, we can't do another song. There's no way.
To Mend the Sun, the project that I found you from.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Because of the one tweet that you sent to like Indie Mixtape or something, and then they were like, you kind of sound like Glass Beach, and I was like name searching, and I was like, what?
Literally me at that exact moment. Like, oh,
well, the Glass Beach was bust.
who's this?
Oh. Like an orchestra hits.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
Oh my God.
I was
We just found that sample and we're just like, no, we have to use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like Dance
Jesus.
Revolution.
Yeah.
No, I remember when I like thought of it, we reached this part and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that like orchestra hit from like the like drum machines or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I remember like I like showed you what I meant and you were like, this feels kind of cheesy. And I was like, no, I swear. Like, we can it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
It does, yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, I think you can harness that because, like, I think orchestra hits as like a default definitely tend towards cheesiness these days. But you can like harness that, like, I don't know, their inherent lack of subtlety and just make it a moment. You know, find the way to make the cheese taste good.
I think it's been so
It's also
long
the fact
since
that
it
it's
was like
so
a
upfront.
huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been so long since like orchestra hits were like a pop or dance music like
Yeah.
cliche that like it feels fresh now just because
Yeah.
nobody does it.
It's weird. It's weird how that works.
Yeah.
I think I was like thinking about like the Kinky Boots soundtrack at the time. I was like,
Oh.
oh, they were having fun with that. Like, I want to get
And scene.
insane.
This is Pressure Bomb 3?
Who thought there'd be another
Pressure Bomb 4, Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Pressure
I'm
5.
loving. I'm loving all the Pressure Bomb jokes on Twitter. It's so much fun.
6 pressure, 7 bomb.
I gotta say, I was listening in preparation for this the past week. I was listening to Backwash and you back to back, and this song, especially while I was at work and like doing a monotonous job and not being able to do creative stuff or whatever, and like wanting to just like go home and work on Glass Beach things or my own music or like really anything, video project or whatever. The chorus of this was actually surprisingly emotional for me.
Wow. That's so like wild to hear, but like wow. But that's kind of like where it came from for me too. I mean, just like being stuck doing things I don't want to do and like insisting that like I can just do everything, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I see you tweet lately, I'm just like, that's so me. That's me.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember like I started writing this song and it was in the middle of like a semester. There were like all these like exams and like projects and stuff. And like, I reach this place all the time where I'm like, I have to cut something out if I'm going to like keep going. And I never want to cut anything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think like it was a different mindset going into this version where it's like, you know, I know I don't want to keep going like this forever, but I think eventually I just kind of came into it as like, for a little bit, this is just going to kind of be my thing, I think. And like, it's working, you know? So maybe I won't be too hard on myself about it, you know?
Sure.
Well, also whenever you're like around college age, I feel like there's a little bit of a, like, at least this is my case, is like there's less awareness to like when your body is like sort of giving out. So you just like start doing a bunch of shit and you get to a point where it's like 3 a.m. and you've been up for like 4 days and you're just like, and you're at like the end of it and you're like, and you go to sleep and you do it all over again for so long. And then you get past like a really stressful time of that. And you're like, oh my God, I can't do that for the rest of my life. Like it's very hard.
Yeah. It's a tricky.
I have a question, production wise, about.
Before a question, I want to have a quick comment.
Go ahead.
That'll be answered or be quicker. But yeah, we're past it. But right before the like group vocals on that song, you sound a lot like Freddie Mercury, and I just want to make sure that is said. Everyone listen to that little vocal little like run you do that goes up. I hear Freddie in it. I don't know.
Oh my God, no, that's literally like what I was like trying to channel.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I remember I recorded like a whole bunch of versions of that bridge because I knew I wanted it to be different from the original. And I was listening to like, you know, like a lot of like MCR and like Panic and stuff. And I just couldn't get like anything that felt like good, you know? Yeah. And then I think I was just shuffling and like Death on Two Legs came on. And I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
You've done it again, Freddie.
And this is Debt Collector. On the other track, just a little like voices that go pressure, 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 like in the background. Yes. Who is that?
That is Indigo.
That is Indigo.
Oh, from Ah? Yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Indigo also did some xylophone stuff in the intro track.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, xylophone. That was so much fun. Yeah. Oh, also, fun fact a lot of people don't know. Cole does some vocals on this song.
Okay.
I do.
You do.
When?
The little
this synth lead right here?
Yeah. Wait,
I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's like hard to hear, but like way in the background, there's like this like vocoder thing.
Oh yeah,
and all of that is you.
Yeah. It's literally just to like push your vocals forward. It was never intended to actually be heard.
Yeah, you hear it more in the bridge though. There's some Cole in there. Mr. Robot Man.
Which of you wrote the bass part for this song? Like most of the bass line.
That was you.
That was me, I think. I was just kind of like, it was a lot of improv. You were there, right? Like I was like,
oh no, we were just trying shit.
Yeah,
that's pretty similar to how you two.
It rules, and it was like, because this is for people who don't know, this is a song I played a couple of the bass parts on, and like when you sent me those bits, I like heard them, and it was so easy for me to learn because it is so like close to how I naturally write, and I think would have written for this. Really? So it was just like, oh, this just feels like really. It just made sense to like my fingers. I don't know. Also, it's so good. The parts he wrote for this, I want to be very clear that like all the notes was completely as written. It's just like a really well written part. It was very fun to play, and this song
a very well
rules.
played part. It was honestly like I was so happy.
Especially this end bit, the bass in this end bit.
Yes, I was so happy to have you on here because like one, we don't like just do a lot of collaborations in general. Partially because it's just like a lot to organize.
Yeah.
So
also working with us is a hellscape.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody, seriously, but you killed it.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, it was a joy to do, and like a big part of enjoying it was that I got to hear the song way before everyone else.
And this is Whose Eye Is It Anyway? Live from the Faraday Cage. What is Live from the Faraday Cage?
That's a cool question, I think.
The Faraday Cage is the name I give my studio. I call my studio the Faraday Cage.
Okay.
Cool.
So this is just all stuff that we kind of just played
Yeah, I mean, and I think the fun part about it is that honestly, the live from the Faraday Cage thing is like a little piece of fiction built into the album.
Yeah.
In reality, a lot of it wasn't done there,
No.
but like it just felt like we needed to tie it to like a place, you know. And Cole's like, "Oh well, what about this?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." Live from the Faraday Cage, like what?
Yeah.
Jariah
It also fits
Extended
really well
Universe.
in the album, like after Debt Collector.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're in hiding now.
Yeah.
Your
Narratively.
shuffle on this song is ridiculous, Cole. What the fuck?
Look, like funk and like shuffle shit. I like my entire drum background is in jazz, so
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have like the newer Pressure Bomb 3. I had such a hard time getting that like straight like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Well, they had kind of the same
just
thing, I
straight,
think.
like 4 on the floor shit, straight shit. It's so hard for me to pull off well and convincingly.
Yo, and
Yeah. Sorry, Jay just always has to tell me not to swing shit.
It's just like an impulse.
oh my God, I just remembered this. And when we first made Pressure Bomb, the demo I sent Cole was something like that. Like it was just like a straight on beat. And I sent it to him and he was like, "No, I'm not doing it. It's too simple." And I was like, "Cole, no, it goes so hard." And he was like, "No, I have to do like something fancy.
No,
It's gonna
just
be a
wait."
whole thing." And then I heard it and I was like, "Okay, you know what? I see what you mean." But like when he sent me the drums for this version, I was like, "Cole, oh my God, this is it. This is
Yeah.
the drums." So that was a fun little like arc there.
I love those moments where you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. This is as the song should be."
Also,
That's how every single part of any one of our songs has ever gone.
that's always
Yeah.
it. Like we just read something and we're like, yes.
Good. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have a question about horns.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So they're all programmed, right?
Yeah.
Now, was that intentionally what you wanted, or was it just hard to find horn players?
It's like a mixture of both. I mean, it's not necessarily what I want sound wise, even though I do
Sure.
like the way it sounds, but it's
Yeah.
more like it just really fits into the way I work. You know, it's like I just kind of have like an electronic background when it comes to production. So it's like I do the arrangements a lot, and also just like as a keys player. So that really informs a lot of my arrangements where, you know, it would be a whole thing if I arranged like real horn parts, you know, which I'd love to do.
Right.
But for like the last couple of things, I think that just really fit into the workflow. Also, I just want to say a little fun fact about these two live versions is that Cole drummed to no metronome for both of them. Because
Well, no, I know. You did the keys parts to no metronome. I had to drum to your keys parts with no metronome.
Oh,
Oh my god!
To like try to find where the one hit every single time.
What the fuck?
I had to like make an entirely new tempo map, like in Pro Tools, to be like, okay, so here's where the one I think is.
Wow.
That's
And then
fucked
just
up.
like interpolate like the tempo changes, so at least I had some sort of click in my ear.
yeah, and then I had to do the horn parts completely free form
Damn.
without any kind of like structure. And then Arby, who did the bass on both of these, who absolutely killed it, had to play to our song that had no metronome. And like I remember I sent it to them and they were like, "Hey, what's the BPM of this?" And I was like,
It's like,
"You know."
BPM? Between 93 and 117. It fluctuates.
And this one is To Take for Granted, live from the Faraday Cage.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is like,
You go for it.
sorry, what was that? Oh no, I was gonna just say like this was just like one song I felt like I wanted to just give it another chance. Yeah, I felt like it was really slept on, so I wanted to bring it back.
Yeah. Do you think that people may have taken it for granted?
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
Is this a joke to you, Willie?
I joke. You think I'm playing here?
Milsey Music asked,
To be
when
fair,
are we going to
Whose
get
Eye
the
was the
pressure
one that got
bomb?
like a lot of the credit, and Whose Eye is a good song.
I know. Oh my god, I always get the single wrong every single time.
Mm.
It doesn't matter how sure I am that I've picked like the crowd pleaser. It's always another one.
Yeah, Jonas was trying to read.
Oh yeah, Milsey Music was asking, when are we going to get the Pressure Bomb cassette demo? They have a laughing face, so I think it's a joke. But
Pressure Bomb
cassette demo.
Is there a Pressure Bomb
Cassette
cassette
demo?
demo?
Technically, there is a. Oh no, there's not a Pressure Bomb one.
I don't know if there is a Pressure Bomb demo besides
No.
like the one that I sent you. Which
Oh,
I
and there is a Pressure Bomb demo, but my God, I'm
Not for our ears.
I think leave it buried.
Just leave it there.
You know
It's
what you
gone.
should do? You should record a cassette demo, like special, unique cassette demos, one of a kind, and then when you go on tour and play a show, you set it up with a geocaching website, and you just say, "Hey, if you bought tickets to the show here, there's a hidden cassette tape with a
In
demo
the
on it."
venue.
And yeah,
Now
it's
that's
like a-
way cooler.
There was like one like Nine Inch Nails album that was leaked like that, or like previewed like that. Like they just like had like a CD in the bathroom or something at a show.
I just like the
That's
idea of
sick.
using a geocache to send out a one of a kind album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Actually, like,
Millsy said
in-
I meant debt collector, by the way.
Oh, they meant Deck Collector cassette demo.
there is actually. So this past weekend, was it this past weekend? It was 2 weeks.
No, it was recent.
Recently, we played 2 shows in Philly, and while we were there, I had burned 20 USB drives with demos of all the singles, like the actual original demos of all the singles, like a couple failed where like every time I master something, I test it for like cassette and vinyl, and like the failed versions of those, so they're real crunchy and shit. And just like a lot of visuals, and all just burn into a USB drive. I passed them around as little cryptic gifts to everyone.
Yeah.
A week before the EP came out, and no one
Amazing.
talked.
Wow.
Wow.
This song is
I
called
mean,
Bad
that's
Luck,
so
by the way.
Yeah, this is bad
Yes.
luck. And
The
this
that
song
almost
goes.
wasn't.
The song that almost wasn't.
Oh.
The song that
Oh,
almost
it almost was not.
I mean, we say it's a song that almost wasn't.
It was always going to be on it.
I was gonna find a way to make it
Yeah.
happen regardless. But I
To be
remember
fair, when you first showed it to me, it was a demo that was only like your vocal and guitar, and it sounded like Irish folk music.
and well, first of all, I still maintain that it was like Italian folk music.
Okay.
And I was just really like into this like dramatic scene in an Italian restaurant thing, and I was like, I want to make this song. And Cole like listened to it, and he was just like,
I knew it needed to be worked.
You know what?
but
I just realized something, Jariah. Have either of y'all ever seen the anime Bakano?
what is it called?
Oh, this part is beautiful, by the way. It reminds me of cats.
Ave Maria era.
This was a fun moment. I almost like left it instrumental.
But yeah, it's an anime called Bakano, and it's Baccano exclamation point, and it's Italian for a loud noise, and it's your sound and aesthetic, especially since you just mentioned like the Italian restaurant thing and whatnot. It reminds me a lot of Bakano. It's written. It's the story was written by the same guy who did Durarara. I don't know if you're more familiar with that one, but
Right, yeah.
but it was a story he came out with before that, and the anime is really fucking good.
Oh, I gotta check that out. That
Is
sounds
there
awesome.
any more you all want to say about your music, or just
Let's see. I mean, yeah.
specifically
I-
this song because it's going through a lot of different changes. Like,
Oh man, I struggled with this song so much because like I just really, I really wanted it to just like go, like I wanted to really go for it and like have it be way out there, but I also didn't want it to be like super like cheesy, I guess. At least not like there's like a certain like way it would be cheesy. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I was like, I just want this to feel like genuine, I guess. I didn't want it to feel like it was like a novelty song.
I think that's where I like when you first showed it to me. That's where I was.
Yeah.
That it kind of felt like a novelty deal.
And I think that's kind of what I wanted originally. But then the more I like worked on it, the more I had to like figure out like what do I want to do. So I had to pull from like everywhere, sound wise.
And this one is Flight of the Crows. And right out the gate, two things: love the like reverse melody, and what the fuck is with those drums? That's ridiculous. No one can play that.
Cole can't.
I played it once for 8 bars and looped it.
It's
That's
completely insane.
It kind
Like, I
of
remember like when we first started talking about it, when Cole sent it, we were both like, this makes me want to throw up.
I'm going to write a drum line that makes someone so anxious they feel sick, which is
Hell
the
yeah.
point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I achieved that.
Yes.
Yo, Cole, do you know who Eric and Prada is?
No.
That's all that guy fucking does. It's the guy who does the backflips onto his drum kit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that dude, ridiculous drummer, and all of his drum parts are intentionally like physically straining, and just like why would you force a human to go to these lengths to play a beat?
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Sometimes it's necessary.
I had the same question as Quentron here. Did this track blow up somewhere? It's got a ton of streams, like relative to the other songs on
Well,
here.
it was out beforehand.
It was okay, cool. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I knew
it
Duck
has been
Collector was-
out. I guess that also it was like a pretty big like jump for us. Like a lot of people found us through that song. It kind of like had a bit of a moment on TikTok.
Yeah.
Small moment.
Yeah, been slowly figuring out how to do the TikTok thing. It's been a pretty big
Okay.
game changer.
I've been figuring it out.
I mean, I have been. I've been like kind of figuring it out, and I think this was like one where it really started to like click, you know, and people just like found the song, and it was crazy.
It's definitely one of my favorites of yours. If
Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
I don't know. I do. I love this song, and I like the dynamics in it. It tends to go about as hard as you do go with songs, and it like really comes down for long sections too, in ways that I think like, I mean, you use a lot of dynamic range in all of your songs in a very like push and pull roller coastery kind of way, but I think this song like really sinks in. And that was technically the end of the EP.
Yeah.
Flight of the Crows is the last song, and this is Pressure Bomb 2, the bonus track.
Ew. Bonus track.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to listen to it because it's there, and also it's great.
It's great.
And this one is a lot of fun. Also, this reminds
The
this
font of the keys here is so fun.
yeah, the little strings. Yeah.
Pizza
remember-
strings.
Peace.
Pizzicato.
Yes, pizzicato.
There's that Italian restaurant again.
There it is. This one always reminds me of a story of what a funny little moment. Like so at some point along the way, I remember a friend. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna like drop names or anything, but I remember like a friend at some point shared this song with like a fairly like popular like producer who like does like live streams and stuff, and he was like, oh my god, like I love this, like get this guy into the stream. So I like get into the chat and I'm like, what's going on? And then it's like blah blah blah, we go through it and like we get in contact, like he wanted to like work together on something. I was like, cool guy, you know, like makes good stuff, you know, I've heard of him before, let's see what's up. And I remember we just started like just throwing around ideas, and he was like, hey, like I would love to what's it called? But we were talking about working together, like just in a general sense, as far as like doing like merchandise and like, you know, PR and stuff. And he was like, I really want to try doing a new production of Pressure Bomb as like, I guess like a proof of concept to like see what it would sound like. And I was like, you know, you've piqued my curiosity. Like, let's see what it sounds like. And I sent him like the stems and stuff and like, you know, like some vocals and MIDI. And I remember like we got it back and I heard it and I was like, this is really cool. But I remember I heard it and I was like, this sounds like an all-time low song. Like I I almost didn't recognize myself. And Cole said the same thing. He's like,
No, I heard it and I was
sound-
immediately just like, who is this singing? Is this them? It's like, oh wait, no, this is you. Just like pitched up for some reason.
It was a
Oh.
whole thing. And I guess like that was when I realized that one, our production was like, our just entire like approach to sound was very different from a lot of the places we pull from, or at least that I pull from sonically. And, you know, also realizing like, wow, that really doesn't work for us. And I
Sure.
remember like I kind of said that, and like he was like, yeah, you know, no hard feelings, and we kind of parted ways. And basically it was just like, yeah, like I think, you know, if you want to go down that route, then, you know, you do you, like, you know, good luck, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's working out so far.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I like that. I mean, you can see something that could have been, you know, kind of a cool opportunity, as you're saying, and you can kind of, you know, what is good for you and good for your music, and you stick by it, and I think that's important.
It's funny too.
I'm so glad we stuck by it. I mean, we wouldn't have Pressure Bomb 3.
And also, I
Yeah.
mean, like we have bands like Meet Me at the Altar has a very like sort of all-time low kind of production style with like very different writing that works really well for them, and it's just like what works for your music too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember especially before I met Cole, that was something I was always like self-conscious about, you know, because like I'd hear like all these like mixes and stuff from some, like, you know, like on the radio, stuff like from Panic or, you know, All Time Low, and all these big like, especially bands that were like blowing up at the time, you know, like in like that 2016, I remember like I'd listen to like, I don't know, like Against the Current or like State Champs or something. And I'd be like, God, like this is what music sounds like or at least this is what people that make the kind of music I'm making sound like. And this is like what I'd love to get to a place of. And I think it just is so fortunate that like somehow we ended up meeting, because like we just have such weird ways of approaching stuff that it was unlike anything that I had ever envisioned. And I think it's just so much better.
Well, and it's weird because you know, things like URM Academy with like Nail the Mix and whatnot have put like into light so many things that are like that are seemingly like on the side of the production fence that like some people initially assume is like, oh, this is like overproduction, or like this is like you can't like do. Like one of the funniest things was like there's a guy I interned for at one point, and like he was talking about stuff, and he was like, and at one point he's like, yeah, you can either do it this way, or you can just totally go Pierce the Veil route. And I was like, Pierce the Veil route? And he was like, yeah, like take a listen to the rhythm guitars at some point. Like that dude would just like literally like do this thing where he would have them do like almost every fucking like downstroke, and it would be like perfectly lined up on a grid along with these like super compressed, super in your face drums and whatnot. And he was like, it's like a fucking robot doing it, but it sounds really cool for their sound and whatnot. And then you start listening to other bands that like do things, and you hear like the raw bass tones and kit tones and all that different stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, like there's a ton, like it's so weird how creative the whole how many directions you can go creatively with production, because you can just do very raw and like processed stuff, or you can bring it to like the very limits of what you can do, and you can still make it sound good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely
so
say like production is like the first thing people notice when they listen to a song too, even if they aren't conscious of it, or like what it is about the production that makes them react to it in the way that they do. It's like,
We've also been so over time we've just been conditioned as humans in a weird way, because nobody knows what a natural drum kit sounds like.
oh yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah.
not nobody, but like when you ask the average person
these days.
kids,
They're
like
all
ever
just
since
on their garage bands and their Fruity Loops.
well ever since they like basically started using like gated reverb and stuff with drums, it's like ever since then our perception of drums as like a general populace has been so skewed that now you ask someone like what a natural drum tone sounds like, and then they point to like they'll be like, oh, like Tame Impala, and it's like No.
Yeah,
That's not
that
it.
is so far from just the raw sound. No.
And not that that's bad or anything like that, but it's just funny how our
No, but
perception
it's
has
like,
been altered.
just because it's like very clear and like very upfront doesn't mean it's natural by any means.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When the levee breaks, that's the natural drum sound.
I mean,
All right.
this goes.
It's the only real drum.
I mean, it goes into the question of like, well, what does a drum actually sound like? Like, what is the default sound like? Because the space affects it, like where you are, like in the room affects it.
the
like
microphones affect it. The
yeah.
speakers affect
I'm saying like even before you're recording it, there can be so much variation in how it sounds. And then once you point a microphone at it, like every factor of how you point a microphone at it, like changes the sound of it. Yeah.
I think it's really cool. It's kind of almost like, like recording and like, processing like instruments and stuff. It's really more like, the way I think of it, it's more like doing like a painting of a thing than like a photo.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
really
absolutely.
all, like, your interpretation of like what the real thing is.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I don't know. It's so weird.
It's funny too because
on that note though, I do want to say it is like so similar to like film and stuff in a sense, or like photography, a lot of color correction and like color grading, and in the way that like cameras and their sensors are able to pick up an image, the correction in post is to make it look more like real life, because a camera can't do that. So like, and I feel like that's so similar to like music production, because you are trying to like replicate in some instances like an experience that people get listening to more of like a live sound or anything. Because when you hear tracks that are extremely dry, it catches you off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I mean, I can say a million metaphors.
Also,
but
the EP is done.
it's like in painting, you look at like Baroque or like Renaissance painting or whatever, and you think, oh, this is like the peak of realism, and then people after that were like, well, it isn't realistic, because it doesn't take into account like the way that the light works and the way that your feelings impacted, and then you have impressionism, post-impressionism.
the best explanation. The best explanation I've gotten to any of that is,
Oh my God.
is there was a point where someone was describing to me about how they were like, oh yeah, I used like whenever I was producing at first, I would always be like, I need to make the drums sound big, like In Utero by Nirvana. I need to make him sound like big, like In Utero from Nirvana. And then they were like, and then I went back and listened to In Utero by Nirvana, and he was like, wow, these drums kind of suck. And he was like, turns out the best approach and like the way that like so many, like the best way to like go about it is you're not trying to recreate an exact thing or a realistic thing. You're trying to evoke the emotion of hearing a certain thing. You're trying to get the idea of it more than you are trying to get the actual sound of it. And it's funny because I've had like friends who like, there was a fucking Reddit thread thing that I read one time about someone who was like getting the most like down to earth like guitar tone possible, where you can hear like the wood tone and like everything about like the most pure tone and whatnot. And they like bought all this really expensive gear so that they could hear exactly what a guitar sounded like, just the pickups and the wood and everything like that. And by the end of it, they were like, this sucks. I spent like $12,000. I should have just bought these things, because really it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's like, I really just want a sick sounding guitar. I don't care whether or not like the wood is darker than maple or any of that stuff. I just care about, the guitar sounding sick, which is really
Totally.
I feel like so much of it just comes down to like learning how to like trust your ears and trust like your own taste. Because I feel like if you just get it as close to like what you hear and like what you're perceiving, it's like you almost feel like, well, if I like this and it sounds like what I like, then it has to be good. But I think when you get into having to like trust what's in your head that you can't hear, it's a lot harder to stick to. You kind of like impulsively go like where you've been before, which is really hard to get out of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great I don't know how familiar you are with Stephen Sondheim, the unknown Stephen Sondheim, but he has a couple of books about how he writes music, and one of them, I remember a quote of his or something, was that he got so used to his own patterns. He was mostly a pianist, and he would always like go to the same chords, go to the same voicings, like everything, and he couldn't strip himself away from that. So he started to teach himself new instruments in order to remove the familiar from himself, and eventually getting to the point where he would start, and this makes sense if you know anything about Sondheim's music, but he eventually got to the point where he started by writing the rhythms of his like vocals first. So he would like, he knew like the pattern of like, it's gonna go da 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 da, like that kind of thing. He did
his lyrics and music. Oh, Dog of Wisdom. He did his lyrics and music, right, William?
Yeah, he does. Well,
that makes a lot of sense.
In West Side Story, he only did the
right,
the lyrics. In pretty much almost everything he did after that, he did the music and lyrics.
That makes sense if you're writing that way, because he probably was kind of thinking of lyrics as poetry in that, which it can often be, but isn't necessarily. And especially if you're working with a separate lyricist, I feel like you want to put the music of the lyrics first. But that's interesting.
Yeah. And it was just to remove the familiar, like what I was talking about. But last thoughts on like your EP, and I mean we could chat some more, but I just wanted to say kicks ass.
Yeah, EP's really good.
Thank you.
I remember it was coming out on Friday, and I was like waiting for it, and then I think it was like 10 o'clock or something when I saw it, and I was like, hell yeah, and listened to it outside on my phone.
Yeah, I came home from a day of shooting.
Yeah,
same.
And Lane and I were on set this whole past week pretty much, and we got home. It was really late, and we go out like back in our house.
It was
By the way,
Thursday night actually.
Yeah. When you're in LA, if you eventually come out here, by the way, we super want you to come over to our house.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah, hit us up. Hit us up for sure.
At some point.
Absolutely. And and we'll play a show with you while you're here. That would be great.
Yes. Oh my God.
We want to play together so bad.
Yeah, we want to play with you so bad. I said when I had McKinley Dixon on, which have you heard McKinley's record? I mean, I'm sure
I have it right here. Yeah.
Hell yeah. It is one of my favorite releases of like all time. It's so good. But when I had him on, I pitched him like a tour of you both, us, and McKinley, which I think would fucking rule. I think that would be amazing. And of course, like we want to tour with Pink Shift as well, but they're so busy. Impossible to nail down. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what y'all's tour plans are like. Future wise, y'all just moved.
Let's plan a tour right now. We got half an hour. We could plan a tour. Let's route it out. Where are we going?
Y'all just moved. You just recently moved though, right?
I just recently moved. Yeah,
okay.
Cole was already in Brooklyn. I just moved down to Brooklyn from the Bronx, so I'm like in here now. And I mean, we have plans to tour. We don't have any tour plans. But we definitely want to next. I have to finish this last semester of school real quick, and then it is to the ground running.
Open season, baby.
Oh well, speaking of your schooling, somebody in the chat did say Jam Jack said such a fun listen and such a great album. Also, such a cool album cover. And if you wanted to speak on that for a moment, because you're absolutely the one who made that.
That's true. That is me. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, to whoever said that. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I love doing the album covers and stuff. And I mean, this one was no exception. It's one of my favorite parts of any record, just getting to do all the visual stuff and like seeing all of it come together, you know? So like for this cover, I think it was really fun because I kind of got to take all of the visual stuff that we built up over the last couple of months, you know, from like Pace all the way until like Flight of the Crows. And I got to take all of that and be like, okay, how do I like, you know, capture that in one image? And it was like combining like these different styles and like having the little like black and white space in there and like the chromatic aberration and stuff, and choosing like one, you know, like I guess quintessential image from this whole world. And that was a lot of fun. I love that stuff, you know?
Yeah, it does really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
I only found the other day the hidden figure by the car.
Yeah.
Is that me?
Hey.
Hidden figure by the car?
There's a hidden figure sitting next to the car. I never realized it until like 2 days ago.
What? I can't even see it.
You can see the eyes more, which is fitting.
Yeah. Also,
check that out.
I try to fit in these glasses whenever I can. So they're in there.
I mean, it does really feel like through the music and the art and the music videos and everything. I mean, I was thinking, I didn't mention this while we were doing the actual listen along portion, but when that like drum part comes in, that's what song it is? Is it?
Change of Pace.
So the whenever that comes in, I always picture the music video of Cole just like, because your wrist is so you're just like boom. It's like it's so obvious that you're good at the drums watching the way that like your sticks move, because I'm just like I was like, you are barely moving your body. You are just like I think of that every single time.
No, I think it's almost more fun watching Cole drum than like somebody that goes like really crazy on the kit. Because he's like fully like in there. Like you see him at shows, and especially with the glasses, he's just like moving like a machine, just fully zoned in.
Like the math equations going around your head of like, you need to hit on this beat, hit on the and of 4. Just calculated precision hits.
I guess if anybody in the chat has any final questions, we can wrap up here.
Whoa, little bug.
Yeah.
Little bug?
Yeah, a little bug. It's a spider.
It's just a spider.
Oh, there's a little spider in my room.
It's okay.
No worries.
It's an okay spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all cool. We get a lot of spiders in this room.
It wants to say something.
Yeah, does the spider want to talk?
I love the World Wide Web.
Can we get a spider cam? Can we get the spider? No, we would have to have a content warning for sure.
Black magic.
I mean, just imagine like a spider like crawling down in front of the lens there. Like, don't imagine that.
Dangling by like a
We're
web.
getting into
like
some
Spider-Man.
dangerous territory.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna scare people in the YouTube video this way.
Millsy says, "Will there be USB sticks at the show this week?"
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Jam-
Cole says yes.
Moving
Legally
on.
binding.
Jam Jack says, "How long did it take to make?" I'm assuming the EP.
The EP. Oh God. I mean,
Too long.
so the first song, well, technically the first song written for it was the intro track, because that was supposed to be for the other record, and that was written in like summer of 2019, I think. I was in a car in Florida, driving through Havana, and I just watched The Incredibles 2,
Nice.
and I was like, I want to make something like that, and it's going to be the opening track. And I wrote down a list of albums I wanted this like minute-long song to sound like. It was like 10 albums, and I had a list of instruments I wanted there to be. And I was just on FL Studio on my laptop with 20% battery trying to arrange a song. And the arrangement almost didn't change. It's been like the same arrangement.
Dang.
So from there to here, so that's like what, 2 summers, 2 years?
Well, to be fair, like a lot of the material on the EP has not been in the works for that long. That's like an outline.
Yeah.
Well, here,
I think
when we talk about the first Glass Beach album, like Jay was like working on a couple of the songs like 6 years before it was actually released. So that we have that moniker, and then we have like when Jonas and I came in and we like formally started working on the album, which was about 3.5 years before its release. So you have that. Then in 2019 is like that's the latest you can go back and like this is the start of the album or the EP. So what do you think the moment was where it's like we are properly like working on this EP?
I think it's just the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it didn't become an EP until like not that long ago, really.
I need to know the distinction. I need to know because why isn't it an album?
Okay.
Why isn't it an LP? What's going on here?
So here's the deal. First of all, I just feel like because I already like in my head there is an LP2 that was already started, and I just feel like partially because this isn't that project, it's hard for me to consider it the second album.
Okay.
And also the main reason is because the reason we haven't released the actual LP is because I like really what's the word?
Sorry.
So basically this entire like, 2020 and in like this year, maybe, basically the entirety of last and this year has all been like one big campaign for this album that is to be. We're kind of just playing the long game with it.
Wait, so this EP is promotion for the album?
Yes. Literally everything you've like known us to do in the time you've known me has been stuff that I've just been wanting to do so that when we release this album, it's the biggest thing ever.
Cool.
So that's kind of like where my head is at as far as why this is an EP. And also because it's just like...
It's also 28 minutes.
It's like really
flat.
short. I'm a big believer in the 40-minute album. I just can't think of...
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, would you say that directly to
feel like-
Dogleg's face?
I'll say it right to their face.
I was gonna say too. I mean, it's all marketing at the
Yeah,
end.
it doesn't matter anymore.
I feel like these days where like vinyl is kind of like, I mean, not irrelevant, but it's not like the main format for music. Like, and there's kind of no limit on how long an album can be. I feel like LP versus EP versus single or whatever is kind of more of like a statement of like intent of like how it should be taken.
Yeah.
Like rather than like a description of the length of it.
That's exactly it. Like,
Yes.
I was talking to Cole about this yesterday when I told him Skrillex only has one album. And he was like, what do you mean he has one album? And I was like, everything has been EPs except for one release. And I was
Which
like,
one is the
you need
album? Recess?
Recess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary Monsters and Nice
everything else
Sprites was like
just as long.
5 songs. Yeah.
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 If
Scary
that works,
Monsters
you
is
know.
11 songs or something like that.
Still
It's like probably over half an hour.
There's a lot of
But-
remixes on that, if I remember right. Though.
True. There are
Which
some remixes.
some people don't count as different. I don't fucking know. It's whatever.
Also, I mean, that,
Like you can do anything, like Home is Where has
Yeah.
like their
Home is Where is 18
their
minutes.
album.
It's 18 minutes long and it's an album. It's so I was gonna bring that up because you're all like, no, please, it's an EP, please, and they're like, no, it's an album. It's not like for theirs. That's that's amazing.
Just pulling a reverse.
Or
Yeah.
Falling River.
You pulled out the Uno reverse card and you were like, actually.
the funniest thing was always trying to define it because like before I got into college, I looked it up and I was like, it's like okay, EP means extended play.
Yeah, but it's the
LP.
shorter one.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
LP means long play, so it's like
Extended play and long play, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then I got into college, and then they were like, it doesn't mean anything. And I was like, oh,
It doesn't
You
mean
got to
anything.
just know the whole history of it because like there were singles and then it was like, oh, this is longer than a single, it's extended, and then they were like, oh, this
Yeah.
is longer than an EP, it's long play.
It's long. It's long.
You've heard extended, but have you tried long?
Wait for the big. I want like
Big play BP?
big BP. Yeah.
play.
Big play.
I'm gonna just release.
play.
I'm just gonna release something like in the old days where they just released the sheet music and no song and call it a no play.
No play.
Beck did that.
Yeah,
You were saying Beck did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I talked about this recently.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's really cool.
It is very cool. And Beck is a good artist to do it too.
Yeah.
Markle,
That's
do you have
sick.
any questions for
Just
Jariah and
really-
I feel
Cole?
like we've talked about doing that too. Like,
Just releasing sheet music and not actually releasing the songs. Like,
yeah,
Actually, I had pitched to you we tease this entire EP by only releasing the sheet music for a while.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's not a
Oh,
bad
I
idea. It's cool.
yeah. For Crows, actually, we released the chords before the song. I just remembered that.
Nice. Well, with how complex your music is, for most people, I feel like it would be hard to be like, what the fuck is this gonna sound like?
Yeah.
Even
That's
if
what's
yeah.
Oh my god, I've been tracking guitars for the Crows live set. I fucking hate you so much,
Dude,
There's been too many changes.
you're doing guitars for that song for Crows?
Yeah.
For Crows?
Yes.
Where?
You'll hear it.
Cole,
Okay.
I want you to know, Cole. I feel your pain because for the next Glass Beach thing that we do and whatnot, with like live shows and whatnot, something that I'm trying to do is I have a Line 6 Helix unit, and so now I'm trying to like MIDI patch change everything and make sure it's all set up so that and it's complicated as hell, but once I get it down, it's over.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
the thing, like,
once you have like
once
the
it-
automatic patch changes, like it doesn't fucking matter. You can change a patch like every beat, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no more stepping on pedals or whatever.
Yeah, try and
Like,
stop me. My
Once
feet are
it's
free. I
done,
can
it's
kick.
there. It
Yeah.
sounds great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I used to spend so much of sets just like on my knees, like fucking changing dials on pedals because
Or accidentally hitting your tuner when you're trying
Yeah.
to and then suddenly no sound is coming out of your guitar anymore and you're like, oh fuck.
yeah.
Now my legs will be available and I can kick.
And I can kick and I can kick.
Strong.
The next Glass Beach thing, says Austin, like a title. The next Glass Beach.
Next Glass Beach.
Next
thing.
Glass Beach thing.
Okay, two more questions. So someone says, well, first I need to ask, what is Ant Peach?
Bug ass?
What is Ant Beach?
Ant
What is
Peach.
It's bug ass.
Bug ass? Is that
Yes.
Oh my god!
what's up?
I don't know why people are saying it
What's
in our
going on
chat.
here?
What's up with all the bug ass?
No, not the Oh no. Okay, so I don't
What's with all the
exactly
ant beach?
understand. I don't exactly understand how this happened. They started. So there's a lore channel in our Discord
Okay.
where people can just like theorize about like lore and like theories and stories and all that behind the songs. I don't exactly know how it happened. I think I missed the inception of it, but somewhere along the way, somebody was like bug ass, and I was like, huh?
That was it.
And they were like, no, like you get it. And I was like, I don't get it. And somebody edited the album cover to
Yeah,
be,
it was also like really well done.
it was a really good edit of the album cover where I'm not there, and instead there's an ant there,
the big A.
big ass ant.
Wow.
Yo, fuck this. I'm stopping everything and I'm just gonna make a jariah lore YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do like those Dark Souls lore videos, but for jariah.
you do
There's
that and
someone
I'll
on
start the
who's, like,
lore
writing a
TikTok.
whole, like, book on the lore.
Oh my god,
Oh shit.
yeah, somebody's on it.
Yeah.
The other actual question, by the way. Oh shit! This is the end. Okay, this is the last one. So someone said, "What's the deal with the glasses? Like, what's the story?"
All right. So, one, I just think it looks funny.
Great.
Like,
And two,
that's pretty basic. Two, like, I have a very big problem with like dissociation, multi-personality stuff, a lot of mental stuff. Like, it's very hard for me to be present in a lot of situations, especially in social, like very active situations. And like having a persona I can put myself in that is outside of myself, which is like quote unquote noodle, which is what I kind of go into when I'm wearing these. It allows me to be one thing that is out of my control because I have created it. Whereas like if I am just kind of here in my own world, it's far too much for me to do a lot of stuff that I need to be able to do.
Cool.
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good answer.
And then, okay, someone said, "What are your biggest musical influences?" And don't worry, you can skip saying Glass Beach. It's all right. We know.
We just assume. We just assume.
So definitely not Glass Beach. Fuck that.
I can end this stream at any moment. No.
You told me.
All right, we're gonna raid Critical. I don't think Critical is streaming.
You can go first.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I mean, obviously there's like MCR, and there's like Panic at the Disco.
Wait, really?
I don't know if you've heard of them.
I might have. I think I heard one song from them.
Yeah, here and there. But
Here comes
yeah, there's
the black
that.
Let them talk.
I guess like the more like unexpected places, not even unexpected, but like I love pulling a lot from like hip hop music and like pop especially. I'm like a long time Tech Nine fan. I take like, a
Damn,
lot
Tech
Fuck
Nine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Worldwide choppers, baby.
Worldwide chopper. Yeah, I love some tongue twisters. You know, I feel like I picked up a lot of like rhythmic stuff, you know, from like listening to rap music and hip hop music, and I love when a song is catchy without the melody, you know? 'Cause
Sure.
I love melodies, but I think there's something to be said about like a rhythm that just like works so well
Yeah.
that you can get that particular part stuck in your head. So like that's always really important. And then there's also like electronic music. That was my first big love, you know, as far as like music. That was the first kind of music I made. I was like a massive like dubstep fan. I was like, that was on the rise. You know, I was like listening to all of the like, you know, like UKF dubstep channel.
Hell yeah.
Like all of those like channels that just like pumped out music. I was like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So that was like my big inspiration as far as like, you know, like synths and like heavy stuff and all this like weird out there like maximalist production. Because like, you know, as long as your computer can run it, you can put it in there. And anime intros.
And anime intros. And then Cole.
For me, like, I mean, the biggest one is like definitely Radiohead. I'm a huge
yeah.
Radiohead fan.
Fuck yeah.
I just anything that they do, I think it's wild. And then there's stuff like Gorillaz and Arctic Monkeys.
Hell yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of that. I mean, there's a lot of like smaller people too. Like I will always listen to like the most streamed album that I own is like far and away Bare Hands Distraction. Don't know if anyone knows that one, but
Nope, not me.
No.
it just tickles every itch in my brain I want it to.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I think that's what like drove me to want to make stuff.
Wow.
It's just that.
I'll pull that up for later.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So I just want to take this opportunity to say it on record before whenever it happens. There's a big Glass Beach inspired song on the next album.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. I'm very excited about it.
Jariah dies
yeah.
and goes to hell part 3.
Oh my god. Now literally I think
Cool.
like the day I heard that song I started writing this song. So it was like,
Fuck
my
yeah.
God.
Wow.
Wow.
That's like one of my favorite songs ever, by the way.
I'm so glad you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
I know, because when we reached out to you, you were just like immediately you were like, I'm doing Classic J Dies.
Yeah, we should say, in the off chance that anyone is
now.
here and doesn't know, Jariah did one of the songs for our mashup covers album, Alchemist Ratchet Bashful, that you can find, called Jariah Dies and Goes to Hell Part 1. It rules. It's so good. Such a good, exciting version of the song.
It's also not that numbers matter, but it is the most streamed one from that album.
Mm-hmm.
What are you
It's
serious?
the
That's
most
crazy.
popular one, yeah.
I did not know that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I
I honestly thought it was Pink Shift's one.
Yeah, y'all are neck and neck. Yeah, it's
Sick.
that for sure, and then the Yoshi's Island remix by Clover and Sea Life.
Mm-hmm.
Which those two were like the singles, so it's kind of amazing that. I mean, I suppose you're the first track on the record, but
Yeah, first song always has like the advantage. Like every album that I look at on Spotify, the first track will have so many more streams unless
Yeah.
there's like some big hit like deep in it. And I just like always like picture people putting on the album, listening to the first song and then just being like, fuck this.
I'm out.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck this.
Enter has so many more streams than any other song other than like Bad Luck. And I love the thought of people listening to Enter, it ending after a minute and a half and just being like, nah, not my thing. Move on.
I think what's even funnier though is looking at like, so for some reason only the streams from Crows carried over for like
yeah,
the EP.
because Debt Collector is like back down to
It's all the way down.
it's all the way
yeah.
down.
Work it back up.
Well, I mean, I didn't think any of them were going to carry over because they're technically like new, like, you know, slightly different mixes and like different masters. So I was like, oh, these are different recordings. But I guess like Crows just got picked up anyways. So now it's like you look at the end of the album and it's like the streams are like way up. So it kind of just looks like everybody like listened to the album once and they were like, I only like one song here. I don't really.
Yeah,
I mean, I hopefully people see that and they're like, oh wow, this is like apparently a really popular song at the end of the album. I'm gonna listen to the whole album and get up to that point. I'm gonna understand it. That's the dream.
They're like, this must be the playlist song.
I like the imagery of someone listening to it and being like, oh yeah, okay. Whoa! Oh, okay.
Pressure Bomb 2 comes on and they're like stone cold. Like,
Okay, I think we've reached the end here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Any last things y'all want to say?
any last things you both want to say?
not that I could think of. I mean, thank y'all for having us. This is so much fun.
No, I mean, this is the first time we've had the full band for one of these too. So
Bad Moves? Oh no, you didn't have all of Bad Moves, did you?
No, I mean us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you had all a pink shift too. Yeah, never mind. Or no, did you? Whatever. Anyway,
No,
you meant us.
I had one person missing for both of those,
Yeah,
but
you did.
I meant us. Yeah, which was cool. And this is I mean, it's the first time it hasn't been on a Saturday. And I just I think I said this in a DM to you, Jariah. But if you don't have anything more to say aside from like thank you, also thank you for being on. And I want to reiterate what I said in our DMs that throughout the pandemic, I've connected to a lot of people via Twitter or like online communities, and especially like peers in our scene, in the music scene, and like other artists. And it has been like a big worry of mine, and about, with things opening back up, and whether or not people will be as excited to see me as I am to see them, or kind of wondering who is actually like interested in conversation and who is being polite, or that kind of thing. It is kind of hard to read sometimes, and not that anybody is doing anything maliciously. I just know like that's a big insecurity that I have. And so when you sent me the record early and were like, hey, I got something for you, and then and we set this up, it was like a big deal for me. It was very validating, and I think very highly of you and Cole. I really appreciate what you're doing artistically, of course, but I also have always enjoyed and like really love your presences online, and the way that you talk to and about and with the community of peers that like we also share. And you've always been very positive and very uplifting of everybody else around you. And I think that it's really easy to either like tune out or become cynical in these kinds of spaces, and you both masterfully avoid that and in fact go firmly in the opposite direction. And I find that very inspiring, and it's something that always makes me happy, and something that brings me out of kind of like darker days myself. So I value your friendship a lot, Jariah. And Cole, I know we don't know each other quite as well, but I look forward to that like in the future. And
one day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just having you on to do this is kind of like a culmination of like everything I wanted it to be, having my peers on, having people like whose music that I love, and like introducing them to other people and listening to their music and talking about their art and getting to celebrate it, while also hearing people gush about, the cool things that went into the stuff that they make. So thanks.
I mean, first of all, thank you. Literally, you're amazing. And I'm so glad that we're friends. And I just this is just so cool to me. And I always think about like when I first, again, like that like day on Twitter.
Yeah.
The indie mixtape thing. And I remember just like finding out like about Glass Beach and about you, and like just this entire, I don't know, I get very into bands, I like to like, just really find out like who they are. And I was just like so interested in like your approach to like community specifically, because I feel like especially for like a scene that is very much reliant on like all of us just kind of just chilling together and just doing our thing, like seeing like that, just how much effort you put into just like being present and being active, and like knowing the space that you're in. I feel like it's very easy to like forget to do that or get overwhelmed and kind of like tune out a lot of the noise and kind of stick in your own circle. And I've always thought it was really cool that you kind of, put a lot of work into, just seeing what's out there and just like knowing your peers. And that, that was really touching to me, especially like when we first met. And I'm really glad that we ended up here somehow.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
And it's gonna be so wild when we. Oh, I'm like, we have to stop talking about this because I'm getting a little too emotional. But like, just thinking about seeing you in person, like actually getting to meet both of you, eventually is gonna be amazing. Like I'm getting extreme like envy of seeing the pictures of people hanging out with all of you and the people that you're getting to meet. Like, it's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I hope anytime y'all are in New York, come through, come by.
Or we honestly just have to get out to LA at one point.
Honestly,
We'll make sure when we're in the same place that we're able to meet up if at all
we're gonna
possible.
we'll meet in the middle. We'll do a little Kansas.
Yeah. Keep your ears open, Kansas. We're coming for you.
Yeah,
And I've never been to New York.
Yeah,
so-
clear your tornadoes out for a week and let us play.
Yeah, clear the tornadoes, please.
Put the tornadoes in the closet for the fall.
Okay, cool.
Let's
I
get
think
out
we've
of
done
here.
it. I think we've done it.
We're gonna
did
raid
it.
Geekly Inc. if that's cool.
Raid Geekly Inc. Hell yeah,
Geekly
let's do
Inc.
it. We're gonna raid
Geekly
Oh,
Inc.
sorry.
A nice man named Tim is playing Pokemon Unite. I'm gonna get that raid going now.
Hell yeah. Oh, so people were saying 100 friendship. Baby, we need more pics of Jariah's tallness relative to other people. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye. Great to have you.
You can stay in this meeting, by the way, Jariah and Cole, but we'll say bye to the audience. Bye.
Bye, Twitch.
Bye, Twitch.
All right, raid
No, it's
raided.
gone. No,
Bye,
not
Chad.
the raid.
The raid. Oh my gosh.